Hi everyone, thank you for joining my channel. Today I'm going to be cooking spaghetti, and this is not your traditional Italian spaghetti that you would normally go to Italian restaurants to eat or so, but this is my version of how I cook spaghetti. Kid approved, husband approved, and so I hope you guys enjoy my recipe and my channel, and let me know what you think. If you can give me a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, I would greatly appreciate it. Thanks guys, have a great day. Anytime I boil pasta, I always add about 1 teaspoon of the kosher salt into my water just to get it nicely seasoned, and we'll let that get into a rolling boil before we start our pasta. Right here I'm going to add 1.5 pounds of ground meat, and the type I'm using is 93.7, and 93.7 basically is very lean red meat. It hardly has any fat into it, so this is the meat I normally buy for spaghetti because I do want a little bit of fat, but I don't want too much of it, and I mainly want ground beef in my spaghetti. And the easiest way I find for me to ground up my meat is this little gadget I'm using. It's from Pampered Chef. It's the most amazing tool anyone has ever came out with, you guys. So if you want to go by Pampered Chef and get you one of these tools, it's the best thing in the world. I mean, it's good for grounding up beef for chili, taco soup, anything that needs to be ground up for ground meat. This will be the tool to use. I noticed that they do sell this at Walmart too, but the tool is so flimsy. I always find myself going back to my Pampered Chef one. So after I grounded my meat, the meat's starting to brown, and I forgot to put this in my video, but I added about 3 to 4 cloves of chopped up garlic to my meat. I do like garlic in my spaghetti, so this is where I added my garlic, and I'm still chopping up the meat just to make sure it's finely ground and that it soaks into the garlic. You will see here that in the pot I hardly have any grease that I'm gonna have to drain because the meat is so lean, so it does save some time buying the more expensive ground meat like the 93.7 versus like I think they have like 73.30 or 73.40 or something like that, and that is just way too oily, way too greasy. And so as you can see right there, I pushed my meat back to show you that there's hardly any grease in my pot, and so it's worth the extra money, you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and add some garlic powder into my ground meat. I'm going to measure out at least 2 tablespoons of garlic powder. Again, if you guys like garlic, add more. If you're not a very big garlic eater, add less. Like I said, I really like garlic in my spaghetti. It just gives it just a really good bold flavor. So I add garlic cloves and garlic powder to my meat sauce. I'm also going to add some black pepper, about 1 to 2 spoons if needed, if you like your meat to have a lot of black pepper in it, but I added about 1 spoon. And then I'm gonna add about not a full spoon of the chicken seasoning to our meat here. And then I will also be adding some Italian seasoning to our ground meat, and basically the Italian seasoning is a mixture of oregano, parsley, and this is what makes an Italian dish come together. So I always keep this on hand, and this is something you can buy at Walmart. The dollar store has it. I keep like a bunch of this on hand, so I added about 1 tablespoon of that to our meat mixture. And everyone cooks spaghetti a different way, guys. My way is very simple, very easy, and it's very delicious. I feel like simplicity is best. You don't have to add too much to make good spaghetti. And so after I add all my ingredients, I mix it up real well, and then I'm going to add a little bit of the kosher salt into my meat mixture. If one of you guys are the kind that have to have measurement to the exact T, then it's something I will put into my description box for you. But anytime I cook my spaghetti now, I just basically eyeball my recipes and I just cook according to taste. So I'm going to add 1 can of crushed tomatoes to my meat mixture here. This is how I cook my meat sauce is from scratch, and then I'm going to add 1 can of tomato sauce to it also, and this is basically all it takes for my sauce. A lot of people have asked me what kind of jar spaghetti sauce I use, and I don't. If I need something quick where I can't wait for my spaghetti sauce to simmer, I may use something, but this here, it just takes, you know, ground meat, a can of crushed spaghetti, crushed tomato sauce, and a can of tomato sauce. And since I added both of those, I'm going to go ahead and add some sugar into my meat mixture. The reason why for the sugar is because we want to add sugar to take away the tardiness of the tomato sauce. So about 2 tablespoons of sugar is all you're going to need. We're going to mix that really well, and that's pretty much all I need for my meat sauce. So basically right now, once I mix it real good, I'm going to cover it up and let this simmer, and we're going to simmer this for about 45 minutes to an hour. And then in between this, you know, I usually lift my lid and taste my sauce to see if it's still tarty, and if it is still tart, I'll add more sugar if needed, or a little bit more water to balance it out, but we don't want it too tomatoey. I started to add some Cajun seasoning to my spaghetti just to give it a little kick, and it's Dawn's Cajun seasoning that I got from Louisiana. It's absolutely delicious. If you can't get your hands on any of those, Tony Chachere's work as well. Alright, so after all the ingredients are in, we're going to cover this up and let it simmer on medium-low for about 45 to an hour. And then I'm going to go ahead and start on my pasta. My water is nicely boiling now, so we are going to go ahead and add a pound of spaghetti pasta into this. There's so many different spaghetti noodles nowadays, from wheat to veggie to skinny to thin to thick spaghetti noodles. What I'm using here is about a pound of thin spaghetti noodles, and I used to break mine apart just to give it more spaghetti. Then I realized that if I'm slurping this, I want it to be nice and long, so I no longer break my spaghetti in half. So once you put that into the pot, make sure you mix it real well, stir it, that way the spaghetti does not stick together. And then I'm going to let this boil, and once it's done, we'll drain it and rinse it under cold water if you prefer that. So this is how the meat sauce looks, guys. It doesn't take much ingredients, and it's very delicious. If you guys like my video, please give me a thumbs up, and please subscribe to my channel. Thank you for watching, guys. Have a nice day.